Alright, it's recording.
Alrighty, here we go. This is the first collaboration of our two channels. Patty Mac 1114 here with Definitely Not Batman.
Definitely Not Batman.
Sorry, I should let you introduce your own name.
No, you're fine.
We just got back from the range. If you know me, you know I've done a lot of videos on the Remington 783. If you know him, you know he's done a lot of reviews. And if you ever,
on guns though.
Not on guns though, on movies and things like that. But if you ever checked his news feed on YouTube, you'll see he's liked a lot of my videos. That's not just because I'm such a good-looking person. That's actually, this is my older brother.
I'm a good-looking person.
Yeah, we'll let the viewer decide. So we went to the range, and I took my Remington 783. Here it is. You know me, I always like to just hold it up in front of the camera. I recently put on some McNett camo form wrap on it, all the way down to the barrel. Did it loose over this because it's still free floated. Did it on the scope. And then what I did, and I wanted to show y'all this, is I just put in a little cheek rest here. What this is I was at Academy and I bought this camo form wrap, and this is a ripped off piece of foam, or a cut off piece of foam from a $7 go to a stadium and a little cushion seat kind of thing, $7. Cut it off and put it in the wrap, and you have a $7 cheek rest there, and good cheek well right there. Get a good look down the sight, and you're good to go.
Really comfortable.
Very comfortable, yes. Once you get used to it, you got to get used to it. But that's just the gun we used, and this is our real first time going. It's his first time going with this gun. This is my second, but it still wasn't really sighted in. So I let the guy bore sight it, and then we started shooting it. Now we used Remington Core-Lokt 180 grain. I'm just gonna get up and hold it so you can see it. The taped ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are my shots. I started off way left, and I just kind of got more comfortable in where I was sitting, and I got these two right there, and then these four grouped, not too bad honestly in my opinion, my amateur opinion, but the barrel was pretty hot as well, so we let it cool down a little bit, and then I let him start shooting Definitely Not Batman, or I'm sorry, I shot these three right here, and so we kind of made the adjustment about 3 inches in, and then he started shooting, and he knocked these 5 right here. Not a bad group. And now the thing to remember, and I wanted to bring this up, is we're shooting a right-handed bolt-action gun, which means that for me, I bring it right there, it's all good, bolts over here, but for him,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't fit that well because you got the bolt right there in your face. So
it really wasn't an issue though. It wasn't a complication. It was just different.
Comfortability factor.
I mean, it was a loading factor. I'm not gonna be able to quickly unload and load it. But as far as the shooting is concerned, it doesn't feel too different. I don't know how it all is on the underside, how the grips are. Like if it's more for right hand grip or left hand, I couldn't tell the difference on that. It seemed fine to me. But as far as shooting and aiming, it was no different necessarily to me from a left hand. It wasn't, what would be the word for it? It wasn't uncomfortable. It didn't feel like it wasn't meant to be. You know, you could shoot left hand no problem. It was just the loading was a little inconvenient, but I don't know.
And so
it's worth trying to find a left hand bolt.
In saying that, when you're throwing the bolt on these, a lot of times we were trying to use not a full stand, but a front rest and sandbags, that combination. So when you have to move away or get uncomfortable to load it, you're going to kind of move your stance a little bit, and you're going to get uncomfortable and a little off aim. So again, in this first one, you got, these are all his. That's still not a bad grouping. At 100 yards, with Core-Lokt 180 grain.
It's terrible.
And you know, you're not this typical kind of shooter, and I'm not the best instructor to you know, get somebody comfortable with it. So then we had a ceasefire, of course, and we let the barrel cool down some more, and we got back on there. And he actually went first again, or not again, he went first. This one he twitched on, but then he started getting these up here, and really good, especially this one. I think this was his last shot. You know, he compensated, and what he actually did was, I'll let you say for sure, but with these first couple of shots, he was really putting it down on the back bag, And then for the last couple of shots, didn't you say you were short?
Well, actually, it started on these. They're almost like one of the first ones I did. Some of these out ones were my first ones, and then this is the first one where I was like, I shot it from not the bag, and I just held it on my shoulder. Basically, I put it close so you see. These ones was where I put it on my shoulder and I let it aim myself instead of trying to aim from the. I mean, I think part of that is the cushion being there. It's really hard because that is one thing about that cushion being there is it's not good for when you're trying to sight it in or you're trying to steady aim, because to get your eyes to where you can see down that scope, you have to push your face against that cushion. You know, once you do that and you get used to it, it is comfortable against your face, but it does make it to where you can't like gently target your face. You can't gently line up the scope. You have to push your face against the foam to get on that scope. And you know, when you're trying to sight in, you don't want to necessarily put that kind of pressure. You're trying to gently tweak it left and right. But for aiming purposes, with that foam there, I have to lift it off that thing so I can adjust as my face adjusts. Because it was too hard to push it against your face and then tweak it just a little, because then if you move a little bit, you push back again and move it.
And I think what he's saying there is like when you're aiming, when you're trying to really just settle it so you can look through the scope and let the stand or the bags do all the recoil, you're trying to be very delicate and look, and you can't necessarily get this part up under the gun like you really want to really get your face settled in there. But when you have it on just that front rest and you shoulder it, you can really get up under it and really feel a lot more comfortable with the shot. And the reason I say that, I don't know if that's his case, but the reason I say that is I did the same thing. I took 4 shots and then we just called it a day. It was hot as something out there. This is my first shot.
Hot as Texas.
Yeah, we'll go with that. First shot, I was kind of shouldering it, kind of trying to stay off the bag, but that's when he mentioned to me, he said, hey, I was just shouldering it for the last shots. I wasn't going off that back bag, I was just going off the front rest and shoulder. And that's what I did for these last 3. And that's another reason we called it today, because I'm a very amateur shooter. That is at 100 yards, and that is about a 2-inch group. You got to imagine one of these boxes is 1 inch, obviously.
Yeah, a perfect diamond on the 2 inches actually. A perfect triangle.
Perfect little triangle on the 2-inch gap. And that's fine for me. Now I'll tell you this, another reason that's fine for me is I actually have to readjust my scope. I don't have to sight it in, and I'll probably have to sight it in after I do this. I'm just really hoping to be very careful about this. If you'll notice, my camo form is real scrunched right here and right here. That's because the scope has actually bounced forward while shooting. Now, I'll let y'all help me out here. I have a dilemma. I'm either thinking the scope mounts are the wrong size, which I don't think it is, or I just need to get in there and put in some Loctite to screw it all down. Now, I think it's my personal fault because I didn't originally do that when I mounted it, and I know you're supposed to. Oopsies on my bad. But I know you're supposed to put Loctite on the screws that screw the bounce down and the screws that screw the scope down. So that's my personal fault. So again, in saying that the scope was moving. For us two to do this is really good. I
would say later on. Actually, I don't even say some of these other ones. All these outside the diamond ones, I won't consider good. Like the ones where they're out here, that's not impressive or really good in the idea of scope. But I think that's why at the end of the day, for me, I don't really ever shoot, so that for me is fine. I don't care to be good. But I think for you, more and less, once you started shoulder shooting it, getting those right there is really what was good.
And I'm more in this for hunting, just so y'all know. So that's a dead deer. And that's what I really want. I mean, would I love a sub MOA? That'd be amazing. But if I really wanted a sub MOA, I'd have saved up the money and gotten all this fancy stuff. And really, I want to go hunting, and I have a good hunting rifle. So, overall trip to the range, successful, I believe. I do need to adjust. I do need to tighten down my mounts and the scope, and I'm hoping to not really lose zero in doing that. If you got any tips on that, let me know. We'll see what happens. I'm also going to be purchasing a Harris bipod for it. just because another thing we learned from this is, you know, we personally, and I personally do better just shouldering it, well, especially once it's sighted, and just shouldering it and not trying to shoot off the back bag. And I kind of want a bipod for that front piece instead of trying to get it into the bag. But at the end of the video, I wanted to do not a review necessarily, but just I guess a quick overview of these. I actually got these from him for my birthday. These are Bushnell H2O waterproof 10 by 42. They're 10 magnification, 42 inch, 42 I want to say millimeter eyepiece, and they're actually great. I love them. They see very clear. It is just a pure 10 magnification, so you don't have any zooming in or out. But what it does have is this, and I can't remember what it's called. I should really have looked at the paperwork. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. And so it doesn't change the magnification, but what it does change is the clarity. So I can look at something.
Focus.
Five
would be the technique.
Yeah, I guess focus. I can look at something 5 feet from me and clear it up, and then I can look at something 100 yards from me and have a very clear view. We were using it at the range actually, where one of us would be shooting and the other one would be looking through this. And of course, it's not a standing eyepiece, so you know it can get a little trouble, a little shaky. But that's just you're holding it, and I love them. I think they're great gift, and real good for the price. He said they're around $100.
I hope I didn't overspend. That's what I would say about them, is for what they do, they're very clear at that range and they do well. It's just holding it still. That's what makes them so. I would say if you're getting some just for the idea of having a range spot, I wouldn't go with them obviously, which I'm sure you already know. Unless you can find some sort of stand to put them on, because that's all it really is. The look of them, they're extremely clear, even at 100 yards. It's not hard to see. It's just a matter of being able to hold it still. I might just be shaky. Yeah, maybe it is.
Got a little the Alzheimer's, they're not Alzheimer's, Parkinson's.
Parkinson's. I was thinking about making that reference, but I was like, I don't know if I'll offend someone. But you're okay with offending people.
I mean, it's YouTube, it's the internet. You don't like it, don't watch the video.
Watch the video.
Watch the video, either way.
Like, comment. If you don't like it,
comment,
YouTube,
subscribe.
Change your mind.
Again, this is Patty Mac 1114 doing a co-op video with my brother.
Definitely not Batman.
Definitely not Batman. I mean, could be a cover-up, he could be Batman. So, that's all I got, and I hope y'all have a good one.
I hope you have a horrible one. Button, other side. Big button.